Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 29. Today, we will continue building our new town, giving it its first housing district, expanding the footpath network a little, so it should be more walkable, but most importantly, we will work a bit more on the rails around the place, so we can improve on the general flow of the future train traffic. I especially wanted to make sure that the passenger station's platforms are capable of doing the roll and roll out kind of traffic, so we can reserve one of them to go on either direction. We will also get around to finalizing the construction hub, buy the vehicles for it, and we will even build a new fire station, because the one we built is out of range for the local substations, and since we had to build something new, I opted to build a bigger one, so we can have one extra helicopter. Before we get started, if this is not your first video from this channel, you already know what to expect. If you want to be kept up to date, please consider subscribing, and if you like what you see, leaving a like will also help letting me know what to focus on. But enough talking, let's get into it. I decided to start things out by changing this tunnel a little. I wasn't happy with the way it interacted with the hill. Basically, instead of raising the hillside to hide the tunnel entrance, we will carve into it, creating a small crevice. Maybe just a tiny bit further back will make the entrances less visible. Okay. We really need to keep an eye on this part. The construction crossing is way too close to the bridges, resulting in some of the track layer wagons hanging back into the junction. As soon as we reach the other side of the river, I will build a new set of crossings. And this is where I noticed that the small firehouse has no power, and thus, the fuel distributors refuse to deliver to it. So, I had a choice to make. Either I build a new substation just for this building, wasting a whole connection point on the transformers, or we just build a bigger one inside the construction hub. Since I wanted to have 3 helicopters anyway, I opted for the second option. This particular area seemed like it would be pretty well suited for it. Right next to the river, so it might even cut down on the response time of our helicopters. I really wanted to squeeze the helipad road through that gap between the fire station and the distribution office, but there was no way to make the ground cooperate. I guess we can just make it go the other way. Well, time to sit through the bridge construction, I guess. Good thing we only really need to reach the point where the actual tracks are being built. After that there will be plenty of space to allow the builders to turn around. And that should do it. Both lanes are now long enough to allow trains to turn around. We can move on. This is where we will work on the town passenger station a little more. As I've said in the intro, I wanted to turn it into a one-way station, where trains will enter from one side, and leave on the other, instead of flipping around. Mostly because I wanted to cut down on the length of the trips the workers will need to make to reach the steel mill in the future. First, we will need to build a couple extra bridges, and making them parallel with the road one seemed like the way to go. It was a bit hard to see where the start and end of the road bridge was. The yellow ghost image was barely visible against the already yellowish dirt textures. This is where the first troubles popped up. The proximity to the junction was too close, and there was simply no way to add in a tight enough turn to make it all come together. We could do it in the other direction, but we needed both, just to cover all angles. I suppose we could just go on the other side of the bridges, although that will only result in more issues with the roads as we reach the main island. But, let's take things one step at a time, and worry about those problems when we get to them. This should work just fine. We don't need any train to move from the town into the distribution center, so these tracks are all we need. Getting a road through that mess was also a concern, but it was less painful than I thought it would be. And it seems the game managed to make it all into a single continuous level crossing, so we shouldn't get any vehicles getting stuck between tracks. Here, I was very lucky to notice the power notification on the shopping center I accidentally selected. Gave me enough time to take out a quick loan to tide us over. It seems my optimism about the money being enough to fill up the new hub was a bit premature. And seeing these two being stuck like that made it clear that some of the signals were not set up correctly. And indeed, I forgot to change the old construction signals to their final configurations. Which reminded me, we also had a pair at the border. They were facing the right way, but had the wrong kinds placed. Now they should be fine. Let's continue with the town branch planning. We need to find a way through the roads to reach the station, preferably without sacrificing too much space in the process. I think routing the tracks between the road and the river was the best way to do this. Just as we have guessed, we are way too close to the road to create the proper crossing, so we might need to move the bridge a little. The outer lane worked, but just barely. The inner one was definitely a no-go. Moving the bridge further up the river should do the trick. Now we are too close to the road intersection. Third time's the charm? If we make the bridges a bit shorter, that should give us the room we need. Perfect. Exactly what we wanted. Plus we got a nicer looking turn on the middle island as a result, instead of the slightly wiggly one we had before. The angle with the roads requires the tracks to bend slightly downward, but just barely, so it should be okay. Yeah, this turn will do just fine, I think. I think it all turned out relatively okay. The amount of space we had to sacrifice is relatively small. Since the tunnels need a lot of work to get through, I think I will pause them for now. Maybe once we buy that tunnel borer version we will get back to them, but the regular track layers are not well suited for the job. The footpath network of this place needs to be a bit more extensive, so this is what we will focus on next. First, we temporarily get rid of this bin lot to start this extension. Of course, we still need it to be around, so we should put it right back. Except, now it cannot reach the buildings further back, only the two closest ones, so we need to add a bit more to make it work again. Might as well move this too, so it can cover the secret police HQ, as well as the shopping center. Maybe a small little extra connection here will do some good for the walkability. Also, I only built the regular roads for now. Not really sure I will upgrade them to a street light just yet. Maybe I will do it for the very center of town, but I don't want to go overboard with the amenities on this place. It's meant to be a small steelworker town, not a big population center. And this is where I decided to move that construction crossing up a little, so track layers can queue on the bridge while they wait their turn to enter the unfinished parts. Right now, they would need to wait around on the main line, which is highly inefficient. Setting those tracks to high priority should ensure they get finished in short order. The new firehouse isn't done yet. But it's getting close. Now it just needs a couple signals, and the track layers no longer need to clog up the main artery of the rail network. Also, I did want to see how railroad demolition would work in the game. Unfortunately, I simply couldn't make it do what I wanted. I set the old crossing to be demolished, I assigned the office to the sites, but nothing happened, even after setting them to higher priority. I guess I will need to do some research on the subject. I even tried to check if we needed a special train to do this job, but I saw nothing that would stick out to me. I left it alone, and we'll get back to it once I know more about how it's supposed to work. Now that the materials are all delivered to the new hub, maybe it's time to start buying the vehicles for it. Also, the new fire station is done. We can set it to be refueled, and we can send over the helicopters. Mass reassignment didn't work. I guess we will need to do it one by one. And this means we can get rid of this small station. Now, I did discover a small flaw in the construction hub. I forgot to include a gravel loading station for trucks. And at this point, there is simply no room left to put it anywhere. In the future, I will need to rebuild that conveyor tower to accommodate the elevated belts to make it work, but right now, it's impossible to put it in. We will just use the main storage to pick up the stuff, even if it's considerably slower. And with the storages assigned to the construction offices, we can start buying the machines. 12 concrete mixers is where we will start. Two covered hulls are plenty enough, we need components in small volumes. Two of each road building machine will be enough, I think. I forgot to check. I think that new roller model is better than the old one. Might want to replace them in the future. Anyways, I think the rest of the parking spots can all go to the open hull trucks. We just need to renew one of the 2 million ruble loans to keep the coffers full enough for this part. Since the bulldozers and excavators were busy in the new town, I will deal with those last. We definitely need a lot of dumpers. 12 should be a good number in this instance. As for road cranes, after making sure I get the one with the most amount of workforce boosting ability, I got 4 of those. Since we were doing a demolition, I did quickly check on the waste processing in the old place, just to make sure it was coping. This is where I remembered that this crossing needs signals. I get distracted super easy. And I also gave up on the demolition of this crossing. As I've said, I will need to do a bit of research on how this thing's supposed to work. I just assumed the track layers would pick up the materials, and take the reusable stuff to the office, and dump the scrap things in the office rubbish container. I even tried to see if maybe we can attach a demo office to the RCO, but nope, that wasn't it. Oh well, I'm sure I will figure it out. And knowing you guys, I'm 100% sure someone with more knowledge will enlighten me in the comments. This is where I decided to get going on the first residential blocks. I really didn't want to do anything big and flashy. I was looking for something more akin to worker accommodations. The housing quality was still a factor though. This place isn't meant to be comfortable, but that's just the aesthetics. In terms of game mechanics, I still wanted people to be as happy as possible. So while I could have used blocks that looked like worker barracks, using those just didn't feel right. I went through all the vanilla buildings we have in the game right now, and ultimately went with those 90% quality ones in the medium category. They have a small footprint for such a relatively large amount of living space, so it looked like a good choice. I was trying to see if maybe there were pieces we can use to create row houses out of them, but no such luck. They all had their blank walls on the ends, there were no real options for a corner piece. So we will just build them as individual buildings. It just wouldn't look right if we had 5 of them, since I tried to place them in a mirrored fashion, so we will just have a nice little plaza in the middle. I still checked if maybe we can squeeze in some of the smaller ones in there, but decided against it. We can just use those to fill in the remaining space below. Angling them at 45 degrees should make it more interesting. And now come the footpaths. There is very little space, so we need to be judicious about how we place these. We can barely fit in the entrances. I forgot to replace the garbage bin holder. Let's hope I remember to put it back later. I think that will do for now. We can make sure things are assigned to the faraway COs, and then we can check on the new ones, and set them to look for jobs as far away as they can, which should cover the new town. We can also finish buying the stuff for this second office. The bulldozers should be idle by now, so we can send those to their new home. Maybe 2 more of each will be enough, and we can fill the rest of the slots with open hull trucks. And we have enough money to buy the 3rd firefighting helicopter, so might as well do it. Seeing that empty grain notification reminded me that we had sent the harvesters out for repairs. I need to be on top of these things. Good thing we have set up an extra safety precaution for this, and our food delivery trucks are allowed to buy stuff at the border in case of emergencies, so we shouldn't really be in any danger. And seeing how the tractors themselves didn't need any repairs, I let those be. But the covered hull trucks, those are way past their intended lifespans, so they were better off being scrapped. We can replace them with something newer. Maybe I will restart the fertilizer imports in the next episode, just to speed up the refilling of the grain silo. And that about does it for today. We should be able to take care of the majority of the town construction in the next episode, and then we can move on to the logistics. By that time, the railroad should also be finished, so it will be just a matter of giving the rail distribution office the assignment. We just need to buy a bunch of delivery trucks to keep the central shop stocked. What I still need to figure out is the garbage. I am half tempted to just put it all on a train, and move it all down to the existing facilities to take care of it all. We could have dedicated trains working on it at all times, moving back and forth, making sure the place is kept clean. Other than that, we just need to keep adding more houses to the place, and this town should be more or less good to go. Once people are happily settled in, we can then move on to the actual steel side of things. This is a whole other can of worms I cannot wait to open up myself. Anyways, if you haven't done it already, I'd love it if you subscribe to the channel, and leaving a like would also let me know that this video was worth making. If you feel that it was good enough, and you can afford it, please consider going to my Ko-fi page, which you can find in the description, and donate an amount that you feel is appropriate. And if you did like what you've seen, there should be links to some of my other videos and playlists on the screen. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you in the next one.